Want to get this briefing by email? Here's the sign up. Good morning. Here's what you need to know. Lawyers for Michael Flynn and President Trump are no longer talking, 4 people involved in the case told us. It's a sign that the former national security advisor is either cooperating with prosecutors who are investigating the Trump campaign's ties to Russia, or negotiating a deal with them. Both Mr. Flynn, an early advisor to the president, and his son, Michael Flynn Jr., are seen as having significant criminal exposure. The White House has said that neither Mr. Flynn nor other former aides have incriminating information to provide about Mr. Trump. The president has dismissed the idea that Russia interfered in the election, as has President Vladimir Putin. But the focus on election meddling is also criticized in Russia by Mr. Putin's foes, who say it reinforces his portrayal in propaganda as a master strategist. At least 235 people were killed and 109 were wounded today after Islamist militants sprayed gunfire and exploded bombs at a mosque near the Sinai coast, Egyptian state media said. Attacks on mosques are rare in Egypt, where the Islamic State has mostly targeted Christian churches and security officials in recent years. Our correspondent in Cairo reports, the bombing comes at a time when the Egyptian authorities had been hoping to stem the tide of Islamist violence in Sinai thanks to their sponsorship of a peace initiative in Palestine involving Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza. Ben Shapiro disagrees with his former boss, Stephen Bannon, and does not like President Trump. But liberals loathe the 33-year-old, who has been described as the voice of the young conservative movement. There's a real battle for hearts and minds going on right now, and Ben is one of the main warriors, said David French, a columnist for National Review, who describes Mr. Shapiro as a principled gladiator. Separately, we talked to the young founders of Crooked Media, which is trying to become the liberal version of conservative talk radio. Last month, officials in Europe traced the release of a nuclear isotope to an area with a Soviet-era nuclear plant. Although scientists said the contamination did not threaten human health or the environment, Moscow's shifting statements and reluctance to release information have raised worries about more dangerous leaks in the future. The cover-up is more interesting than the accident, one expert said. Oscar Pistorius, the double amputee Olympic sprinter convicted of killing his girlfriend in 2013, had his sentence increased to 15 years today by South Africa's Supreme Court of Appeal. Prosecutors had called the original 6-year term shockingly lenient. You aren't alone. We'll have the latest updates from Black Friday, as the holiday shopping season begins in earnest today. Wirecutter, our sister site, is tracking the best deals. Looking for inspiration? Here's our gift guide. Have we mentioned that everyone loves a subscription to the Times? Michael Barbaro and friends will return on Monday.